we've lived it. But we want to, as parents, we want to really recognize empathy in our kids and celebrate that, because I think that's the roadmap to success in anything you choose. If you have the ability to see life through other people's lens, I think it gives you some incredible problem-solving skills and make you a better athlete if that's what you choose to do, or to make you better at solving problems in businesses or in relationships and friendships. So that's what we focus on as parents, less about what they choose to do and more about how they choose to do it.
Michael, you're still active in tennis, of course, playing the seniors tour, but when it came time to retire, that must have been an incredibly difficult decision for all of you. I mean, it just comes to you one day, or does it build up? You're saying, you know what, I'm starting to slow down. How did that happen for you?
I don't know about the rest of these guys, but I was actually felt pretty good about retiring. It was, I played about 16 years out on tour, and I think these guys would probably agree with me. I don't think it's really the playing that's the difficult part. I think it's probably the day in, day out training in order to, knowing what you need to do off the court in order to be able to perform on the court. And, obviously physically it became, more and more difficult to be able to do, but when it came time, I knew it in my heart, and I was excited about different things that that lay ahead at the time. So
there's an old saying: it doesn't matter whether you win or lose until you lose. And when you start losing a whole lot more, it's a whole lot harder to keep going.
But you won titles in 4 different decades. I mean, no one else has done that. Yes, you did.
Oh my God, is that true? I wish that was true. No, you're talking, the double. You're talking about the doubles. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, these guys pretty much put me into retirement, each one of them. I lost to Michael in the U.S. Open in '91. I said, okay, if I don't win a major next year, it'd been a number of years already, so who am I kidding? And then I got to the semis at Wimbledon, and before that, Andre had difficulty at Wimbledon, hadn't had the success he'd had at other tournaments, and I said, listen, I think you could be great at Wimbledon on grass, and I said, just you go out there and do your thing. But he did it way too well when I played him in the semis at Wimbledon. So that said to me, I got one last chance, and who did I run into in the round of 16 of the U.S. Open? That guy down there. So I'm just happy to be sitting with them. I couldn't even make it through one day without getting hurt now.
Everyone knows, of course, of your histories and everything else, but when it comes time for the Players' Lounge, did you guys ever hang out, or did you hate each other because you had these big-time matches against each other and so-and-so beat so-and-so? I mean, did you hang out together at all in the lounge, and what kind of things did you talk about or do? Jim?
Did you read our books?
Look, it's a big traveling circus, this world of tennis. Listen, we all compete against each other, and everyone wants to win, but you're there in the locker room, you're in the lounge, you're in the restaurant. I mean, we have a lot more in common than we don't. So, I spent a lot of time with these guys in Davis Cup. Andre made the perfect margarita for us there in the Davis Cup room, which was nice. Worked that out.
I can make a good margarita.
A really good margarita at 6 o'clock prompt. That's the go time for that. So, Michael and I, when we were, God, Michael, you were 14, I think I was 15 or just turned 16, we roomed together all summer as we were part of the U.S. national junior team, traveling, playing junior tournaments. In fact, we came up and played here in Toronto for qualifying for World Youth Cup. So look, we've got a ton of history on and off the court, all of us. Johnny Mack and I sat over at his loft the other month having beers, just kind of talking about life. So, these guys are my competitors, but they're also my friends, my peers, and I got a ton of respect for them because I know how much they've sacrificed, because I've sacrificed the same amount, and it's kind of a small group that can feel that way about each other. So it's special. It's nice to be here today as well.
I was recently involved in a charity tennis tournament, and
I'll never forget the last day I stood on a professional tennis court, said goodbye to a crowd that not only watched me grow up, but helped me grow up there in New York, and saying goodbye to the game. That's a moment I'll never forget in my life. And in between the lines, I think every time you get over a finish line at any of the tournaments, it's memorable. Certainly, the bigger the tournament, the bigger the memory. And for me, getting over the finish line for the first time in each of the slams and and for the gold medal, or it's just, I mean, how do you even separate those achievements in your own mind, because they're pretty strong?
I do have one memory.
Okay.
It only happened once. That's what I remember. And it happened to be with this person up here with me. That before we went on the mat, the court, this is the French Open in 1988. This gentleman right here, Michael Chang, he called me Mr. McEnroe.
That was my first mistake.
And I thought, this guy is all right. He's very respectful. And the next year, he won the French Open. And I was watching on TV going, what is, you idiots, what is wrong?
But you know what my biggest mistake was, right? So I played John in the third round there at the French Open. My biggest, and the Parisians love John. They love his emotion, and they just love. My biggest mistake was I let him walk out on the court first. So he takes 2 steps on the court and he goes like this. And the crowd went absolutely nuts. I came out and I was like, I felt like a little ball boy.
Jim, when you won the French Open, you made your acceptance speech, or your speech, your championship speech, in French. That really turned on the crowd.
He had a thing for French women.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
paid dividends down the road too. That one, it's a good memory.
We're not talking about those memories,
Would
Jim.
you like to share one of those stories?
Well, I guess I could probably share a couple of stories. Just one quick story about each of these guys. So Michael and I, like I said, we grew up together and we played. I think we're 16-16 overall on ATP Tour matches. But the one match that he beat me in that I'll never forget and I'm still bitter about was we played the 18 and under junior national championships in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is a great city you should never visit. And the winner of that match gets a wild card into the U.S. Open, and Michael beat me like the redheaded stepchild that I am that day, and he got the wild card into the U.S. Open, won a round, and you know, the rest is history, and I had to kind of scrape and scrounge. So I'm still upset at that loss. I've never forgiven Michael for beating me down like that, but I'm trying to move on. First time that Andre and I played on the Pro Tour. Now, granted, Andre and I were roommates at Bollettieri's and at the same age, but Andre was, you know, well advanced in his career by then. When I was coming onto the tour the first time, we played in Philadelphia, and it was a big match for me. It wasn't a big match for him. It was a second round matchup at a normal ATP event indoors. It's indoors, dead of winter, and we go out and we play. And Andre crushes me the first set, like 6-2, and then I get into it in the second set. I start playing well, and I'm really charged up and pumped up. And we go into a tiebreaker, and I start cramping in a tiebreaker. Now, generally, you cramp in hot, humid conditions when you're really tired. I was just cramping because I was so amped up. So I cramped myself out of that match, lost to Andre, so that was like, welcome to the big show. Later that year, I knew I was really starting to make it. I got into the quarterfinals, and I got to play John for the first time in Detroit, at the Cobo Hall in Detroit, this tournament. And it's Friday night, big night. I'm playing John. I looked up to John. We all did. And I get out there, and I didn't call him Mr. McEnroe because he was storming around. He wouldn't even look at me in the locker room. It was like a bull in a china shop. We go onto the court, and he's destroying me. And the second set, we're playing, and I say something smart under my breath, and he hears it. And so he hits a drop shot the next point and comes in. And this is my welcome. You're now officially part of the Pro Tour at this moment. He hits a drop shot, and he follows it in. I scrape my way up to the drop shot. I don't get it. I'm in the net, and the net's right here. And I miss the shot. He breaks my serve, and then he starts yelling at me, "You little so-and-so, no respect, blah, blah." And there's some other words that I can't say. I can't talk about these other words, but I knew I'd made it. When Johnny Mac is yelling at you on a Friday night in an ATP event, you are in, baby. You made it.
Have a good night, everyone.
Jim Courier, Michael Chang, Andre Agassi, John McEnroe. A big hand for these legends of tennis. Legends of tennis. Michael, thank you.
It's going to be dangerous.
I'll see you inside. We're going to do
I know. Sorry, my
It's okay.